Hello and live from Studio Shaven House. I am recording my lesson on engineering and I apologize for the tardiness. My voice has been off and on, and hopefully I won't cough so much. Um, the lesson that I chose was product development and the environment. And I thought that kids would be really interested to see the lifetime process of a product. And the summary of this is basically the students are going to investigate the life cycles of engineered products and how they impact excuse me, the environment. They use a basic life cycle assessment method that assigns fictional numerical values for different steps in the life cycle product of the product. And then they are going to use their analysis to compare uh, the impacts of their products to other products and suggest ways to reduce environmental impact based on their analysis. And especially in this day and age when we're trying to find better ways to improve products so that they're less harsh to our environment. And kids are seeing that's a very important concept today. So the learning objectives that they're going to have for this lesson is describe the steps in the product life cycle, and then suggest ways to reduce the environmental impacts of engineered products. I like this, what they come up with their own how to fix it and make it better type thing. Explain how a life cycle assessment is a useful tool for engineers. Now, the materials that you would give each student would be pencils, the life cycle assessment worksheet, which is included in my lesson plan, and then any manufactured product or any manufactured product to analyze. I thought it would be really fun to analyze if as the teacher. I've never done this lesson, but to go to perhaps anyone that you know that has anything broken that they were going to just kind of throw out or give away, and then you could use it for this assignment. We have coffee makers, calculators, toasters, things like that. And what kid doesn't love taking apart something? Because I grew up and I actually got in trouble because I tried to take apart my mom's phone, and she didn't appreciate that. Well, I put it back together and it worked a little bit, but not as well as before. So taking things apart, I think would be really fun for the students. You don't have to. That's kind of up to you as a teacher. Can your students handle it? How much time do you have to spend would totally dictate if you do this or not. I mean, because if you choose products like a CD, there's not much to take apart. I would love to have the kids be able to take apart a coffee maker. I have a few of those that are broken, and I also have been collecting things from my sister-in-law who lives on a farm, and she's been giving us old computers and radios and phones. So basically our kids can have the experience of taking things apart, but wherever you can collect these for free would be the best. So try to search that out. To start the kids off, and a screwdriver to take the apart, or a screwdriver set to take apart the product would be another material you would need. Also, to engage the students, you're going to talk to them about the life cycle of a butterfly. Everybody knows the life cycle of a butterfly. Well, pretty much. We've talked about it's kind of something that the kids can grasp. Yes, they know that the butterfly goes through a life cycle and from birth to death. Well, so does a product. You tie that in. A product is born and it goes through a life cycle, and then until it's thrown out or hopefully reused. And you tell them that basically everywhere around us are products made from metals and plastics. Some of these products are as simple as a hairbrush or a toothbrush, while others are as complex as a vehicle or a computer. Do you ever stop to think about how these products are made? Everything that involves metal and plastic uses natural resources, requires energy to manufacture, and produces waste in our environment. Some products have a large impact on the environment and some have less of an impact. Products that can be recycled have less of an impact on the environment and are considered environmentally friendly. Engineers consider the environment impacts to our air, water, and other natural resources when creating new products. To do this, they consider the entire life cycle of products, including materials acquisition, materials processing, and these are important terms that you'll have the kids write down so that they understand. Manufacturing, packaging, transportation, use, and disposal. These represent all the life phases of products, similar to the life cycle of animals in nature, like we talked about the butterfly. An engineer uses a life cycle assessment to measure how much energy is used to create a product and the impact a product has on the environment from its creation all the way to its disposal. This includes several general steps to determine the overall environmental impact of a manufactured product. The first step is called an inventory analysis, and in this step, the energy and materials used during a product's life cycle are calculated. A number value is assigned for each product, a number value is assigned for energy and physical materials for all the phases of the life cycle. Materials acquisition, materials processing, manufacturing, packaging, transportation, use, and disposal. The next step is an impact analysis. So you teach them these steps. You do an inventory analysis, then you do an impact analysis, where the number values from step 1 are added together, and this gives a final number which represents the total impact on the environment. And last, the improvement analysis is performed to determine any way to reduce the product's impact on the environment. This is what I really like, because the kids can see where they can come in and try to improve maybe everyday products to be better for our environment. And this is a design process, really incorporates engineering into their learning. For example, it says conserving energy or water during any of the phases of the life cycle or exchanging materials for less hazardous waste ones would help reduce the impact. Then the changes are inserted back into the inventory analysis to determine if the total environmental impact can be reduced. So you say, today we are going to think about the life cycle of some engineered products. Some we are not developing new products. Since we are not developing new products, we are going to re-engineer existing ones by breaking the products down into their individual parts and examine each part for our analysis. Using that information, we will assign representative numbers for the environmental impact of our products and compare those impact numbers with the other products of our classmates. Then we will think about ways to reduce our numbers, or in essence, the environmental impact of the products. They assign arbitrary numbers, and you can talk about how this is just to give them the idea of what numbers and how the product impacts the environment. And the arbitrary numbers are so we don't have to delve into maybe doing Google research. If they want the real numbers, I suppose you could send that as an extend for the real impact of the product. But for now, we're just going to use arbitrary numbers to get them used to the analysis protocol of the product. There are worksheets, and these are all found on teachengineering.org. I just copied the worksheets into my lesson plan, so they're there. It has vocabulary for this plan: life cycle, recycle, waste, and then of course I went over the steps of the life cycle of the product earlier. I would also, as a teacher, be very strict about having them keep a notebook with their process of what the product was in the beginning, and then everything that they kind of do on their worksheet to write in their notebooks as well, so that they can go from start to finish, what they started with, what they've come up with, and then with illustrations, and then especially when they get to the last step of how to improve the product so it's less impact, has the least amount of impact on the environment, or how they can lessen the impact of that product on the environment. So there is background information for the teacher that you can find on the website, and it says how to get yourself prepared and ready for that. with the students, so it suggests that you divide the students' class into teams of, it says 2 students each. However, uh, I think you could probably do 3 or 4 with this one. Give each student pair a product. Have students follow along with the life cycle assessment worksheet in determining a hypothetical number value for the impact of the products in their environment. So they complete this analysis, and the worksheets, my printer, of course, is running out, but kind of look like product development environment sheet, life cycle assessment worksheet. It gives the numbers. So they can put in the types of raw material, the points assigned, collect them. They fill out these worksheets, and there's another one that keeps going with the packaging, the transportation of the product. It really gets the students thinking about all of the steps the products go through. And then at the last, on the last worksheet, there's an improvement analysis right here. And so that's really kind of cool. I'm going over my time, I realized. But anyway, after the students work on all of that, there's an evaluate, they have a class discussion that you can do before, and then like I usually have a rubric for their notebooks so they know exactly what I look for in the notebooks so that they know what they're supposed to be recording and writing down and all of that. Basically, how well have they improved their product, and then also you can extend the assignment, have students look up the life cycles of some common products, a cell phone, or anything they can think of. You guys could brainstorm with them. They could also research more about the environment, use and disposal of plastics and products, from toy dolls to cars. And what is coming up more and more now is how plastics are being replaced with corn, different types of materials that can break down in the environment better. And the NE SciFest, they have a great table at the Durham that talks about this, that I have visited before, and it teaches the kids how they're making products with natural resources like corn that can break down better in the environment, and they don't impact the environment as much. But I really think this is a great lesson. Sorry I went over my time. I haven't taught this, but I think that this is something I would definitely use with my kids because it seems very, very fun. So thank you, and I hope that you enjoyed.